Shifting gears and watching shares of Amazon, though, as they kick off their second Prime Day event. Shares are lower by about 2.5% right now. What our next guest calls bridging the gap between the back-to-school and the holiday shopping periods. For more on Prime Day, we welcome in Cowen Managing Director and Senior Analyst covering Internet and New Media, John Blackledge. John, great to have you here. Happy Prime Day sequel to you, I suppose, as we kick off the holiday season sales even earlier. And it always gets earlier and earlier, and there's more names that even get looped in to this broader sales blitz, if you will. How do you expect this to pan out for Amazon, knowing that so much of the e-commerce push that they have, this is just going to be a larger break-even type of push that they're looking for in order to just get rid of some of this inventory and perhaps get some new signups on the Prime front?
Yeah, it kicks off. So it kicks off the holiday season for the company. Remember last year, it was an earlier holiday season with the supply chain issues. This year, it's a little bit different, right? I mean, more macro headwinds for the consumer. So it'll be interesting to see how the consumer holds up throughout it. But you have, like you just said, the in-stock levels are good. Arguably, there's a glut of inventory across the retail landscape, which could lead to kind of higher discounting than previous holiday seasons. But I think for Amazon, a couple things. In-stock levels are good, and their delivery speeds are back at pre-pandemic levels. That's what they told us at 2Q earnings, and that should only really improve for the company. Remember, Amazon invested about $80 billion in their fulfillment and logistics infrastructure since 2020. That included quadrupling their last mile delivery stations. So outside of this Prime Early Access event or second Prime Day, we think these faster delivery speeds will drive higher conversion rates, which should bode well for the company throughout the holiday season.
John, some estimates out there in the street are suggesting Amazon from this day might pull in over $4 billion in sales. It might be another big day for them, yet the stock continues to be under pressure. We're seeing it down here today. What is holding back Amazon stock at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think broadly, internet is kind of down today at varying levels. So, but to your point, remember in July, the July Prime Day event, we estimated they generated about $7 billion in revenue, and that was about $5 billion incremental to what they would normally do during 2 days in July. So we think this will be a big event for the company over the next 2 days. And remember, the July Prime Day event led to the strong 3Q guidance. And for the company for this year, they didn't have a second Prime event right last year. So they're going to report earnings in a couple of weeks. They're going to have this effectively the second Prime Day for their 4Q guide. And we're looking for about 12% e-commerce growth in 4Q and overall revenue when they guide to it in a couple of weeks. We're about 1.5% above the street. So we are looking for pretty robust growth. And remember, Amazon, despite the stock price today and thus far this year, there are a couple of good things going on. You have revenue growth reaccelerating, both in 3Q and in 4Q versus flat in the first half of the year. And they are pulling out of this massive historic investment cycle, which usually bodes well for the stock. So we'll have to see. I know it's a choppy market and tough for internet, but there are good things going on fundamentally at the company.
We're taking a look at some of the comparisons in terms of the stock performance, Amazon versus Walmart versus Target. You could easily throw Best Buy into the mix, too, if you wanted to. There's so many brands that have tried to take advantage as tertiary players or secondary options, I should say, when we do have a massive sales blitz like this ahead of the holiday season. But are all sales or promotional cycles created equal from your perspective?
Oh, yeah, and I can't totally speak to what the other players are doing. You usually do see other players typically around Prime Days doing things. And also Amazon does a lot of things in the lead up to Prime Days. Like even I think small businesses, like for the July event, generated about $3 billion in revenue in the 3-week lead up to the July Prime Day. So, but I think, kind of as we're talking about, I think this will kind of kick off the holiday season, not only for Amazon, but for other retailers. And we will see, like I was saying earlier, if it's going to be an earlier holiday season this year and where the consumer is, just given all these macro headwinds.
Cowen analyst John Blackledge, always great to get some time with you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.